Y'all, it's your Queen J Lotus coming through right quick, right fast with May's Major Life Lessons for Sagittarius. Okay. It seems like many of you are in a transition stage. Many of you are ending one cycle and literally leaping straight into the next as we speak, or as I speak, whatever, what have you. But just an overall glance at the coloration of the cards. So we got a lot of purple, orange, and blue. We got some hints of green, but mostly purple, orange, and blue. So we got crown chakra things that we're working on, sacral chakra things that we're working on, and throat chakra things that we're working on. And all of this is going to help y'all get y'all's etheric heart frequency up. It's going to help you heal some really deep-rooted things. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the specificities of these cards. So we're going to start off with the card at the core, honey. Don't believe every shitty thought you have. The other side of that card says thoughts can be sneaky, lying bastards. So many of you have been having a lot of pessimism going on, been fighting the urge to be pessimists. And honestly, a lot of this has to do with suppressed emotions. There are some emotions and situations that have boiled up and gone on over time that you try to let just roll off of your back like water to a duck, and you ain't no duck. You know what I'm talking about? True enough, that helps your understanding of a time and a place for everything, and it helps you not get too wrapped up in the darkness that presents itself. But some of you have been cheating yourself because you haven't been actually processing your emotions, which has stunted your intuition in a way, and you haven't been standing up for yourself in a real way. And so it's made it a bit difficult for your divine realm to make certain moves for you and fight on your behalf in other certain ways. Basically because your divine realm is not going to take you anywhere that you don't really want to go. And if you are not fighting for yourself to get to that place, then not only does your divine realm assume that you don't really want to go, the people around you, the ether, the universe, decides that you don't seem like you really want to go. So they, you know what I'm saying, can't do a whole lot for you that you're not doing for yourself. And that's definitely a major life lesson that y'all will be learning for this month of May, that you've been cheating yourself and you have been kind of asleep on yourself for a good while. And many of you have been waiting for a shoe to drop. You've been waiting for something to happen, or someone to give you permission to take action, or somebody to come to you with some specific opportunity that leads you down the path of your dreams. And Spirit is saying, no, we waiting on you, child. We waiting on you to decide that you really want it enough to go get it. And don't, feel bad or beat yourself up, because it's a good thing that many of you are so good at not getting wrapped up in your emotions to a point where you're obsessing and stressing out and all of that. That's absolutely magnificent, and it's definitely a strength that many of you have. But when it gets excessive, your anger is not able to work for you in the positive ways either. So that's a major life lesson that's coming through for this month of May. You all learning that some of the emotions that you deem as negative have positive attributes attached to them. And therefore, you will be learning more about your options and how to handle things and how to go about things specifically for yourself, specifically as it concerns manifesting and bringing about what you want to bring about, specifically achieving your goals. So instead of avoiding your emotions that you deem as negative, instead, when you have certain pessimistic thoughts that come up, or negative thoughts or negative emotions that come up, start asking yourself questions about those thoughts and about those emotions. Figure out where they are coming from and why they exist for you. Say to yourself, why is this happening for me? How can I use this for myself and for the betterment of myself and my path? And that's going to help some divine answers come straight through you, and it's going to bring a lot of clarity, and it'll help lift a weight of anxiety off of you as well. So the divine realm has been making you uncomfortable in order to get you to move. And that's the thing about discomfort and the emotion of anger. Anger doesn't always have to be violent or rowdy. Anger can be handled and processed through movement. So that's low-key, high-key, any form of movement. That's why some people work out in order to process their anger. They have a coping mechanism, especially if they've been through therapy for anger issues. They often learn a coping mechanism of being physically active in order to deal and process and cope with their emotion of anger. And it definitely helps because, like I said, anger is for movement. It is processed through action. So that's why people are often prone to getting violent when they experience anger, because it's about action. But the lesson here is that it doesn't always have to be that. There are more options. There are more physical actions that can be taken in order to process anger. And so Spirit is going to help y'all determine which methods and which actions work best for you, specifically in this month of May. And with that being said, we segue perfectly into the Eight of Wands, which is all about movement, opportunity, taking action. And this also has a striking while the iron is hot aspect to it. So there is something that many of you have done, whether recently or a good little bit ago, and you was just thinking, oh, okay, it happened then, it was a good little moment, whatever, boom, pow, pow. But you're about to start reaping more benefits off of that thing you did, whether it's even apparent to you that it's coming from that or not. So many of you either are already being faced with a whole lot of options, a whole lot of like opportunities, new job opportunities, new home opportunities, all of that, being invited out, all of that, major things concerning career and relationships. And so definitely strike while the iron is hot. Don't try to choose any one thing. And for some of you, this is even concerning relationships. You may have a lot of people in your inbox, a lot of people hitting your line, a lot of people approaching you like, hey, let me take you out, let me do this for you, let me take you to lunch, let me invite you to this and that place, let's go on a date, I'm feeling you, I've been feeling you for a while, all this, that, and the third. Don't choose just one. Don't feel like you have to choose just one. Be honest about your movement, but also you don't really have to explain yourself too entirely to anyone if you are single. Now, if you're in a committed relationship, that's a whole nother story. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to do some checks and balances. But if you're single and you're getting all of these, prospects, sample them all. And you ain't gotta have sex with them. And if you do, protect yourself at all times. Protect yourself at all times and be mindful and heartfelt and soulful about who you share your temple and your energy with. You know what I'm saying? Because you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. Okay? But yes, whether it's dates, relationships, or career opportunities, or hobby opportunities, going out opportunities, friend opportunities, whatever, what have you, try it all out. Sample. You know what I'm saying? Dibble and dabble. Put your toe in the water with it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is meant to help you learn more about your likes and dislikes and what you prefer for yourself. Because I'm picking up that many of you have been in environments where people have tried to convince you of what you like, or have tried to force you to like what they like, or it could be situations where whenever you're with your parents, and it probably started with your parents and it translates into other relationships that you have, but the people that you have relationships and interactions with, they often feel a need to speak for you. So like you could be in a social setting and someone will ask you a question about yourself. They'll ask you about something that you like. Do you like to go to this place, or do you like this, or do you like that? Or they'll ask how you felt performing at such and such, or how you felt when you was working at this and that place. And one of your friends or one of your family members or one of your parents will immediately pop up and pipe up like your name is theirs and start speaking on your behalf, like, yes, she did this, that, and the third, or he feels this way and he just felt so da 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 da. Like, it seems like many of you have had experiences like that, and you got to a point of just like not taking it personal, or like it became normal to you. So it's gotten to a point where you didn't really realize the effect that was having on you, and how that has influenced you to be complacent a little bit, and not really have a clear concept of your own desires. And that's why the sacral chakra work is coming up, because many of you may find that you are not excited by the same things or the same people anymore. You may find that you don't feel this sense of satisfaction as you once did, or the satisfaction that you had before you realized the inauthenticity of it, and now you're like feeling thirsty, feeling hungry, feeling like deprived, feeling like you want to take action, like you need to do something. And you do. You do need to do something, because the reason why, like I said, the reason why your sacral chakra is underactive right now and a bit blocked, and you're having those feelings of like boredom and lameness, is because a lot of your desires and enjoyment and things of that nature were wrapped up in other people. Many of you have been living vicariously through other people for a while. And so what would make them happy and excited, you would like feed off of the energy, and it would make you happy and excited. And the same thing would kind of go for the other emotions as well. But now it seems as though some of you have had eye-opening, soul-opening experiences with the people that you used to hang with, and it's, for some of you, it's made you disgusted, it's made you look at them different, it's made you want to see yourself in a higher light, and made you want to function in a higher light. And now you're trying to figure out how to balance out functioning higher and still enjoying yourself at the same time. And so the lesson behind it is those weren't really your senses of enjoyment either way. And so through that realization, it may make you feel like, or make it seem like, you was on some weak-minded shit. And in a way, there is truth to that, but there's a strength in that. Your ability to transfer energy and receive energy in that way. There's some spiritual strength, spiritual gift that is attached to that you just haven't been aware of. And Spirit wants to make you more aware of that throughout this month of May. And that's why you're being pushed to take all of these different actions and get out and sample and mingle and dibble and dabble and just try a whole lot of stuff out. It's like a painter just throwing different types of paint onto a canvas and seeing what sticks and just seeing how it comes out. They want you to operate in like this Ace of Wands combined with Fool-esque energy, the Fool upright, which is essentially the Eight of Wands. And this is segueing us perfectly into the next card, which is the Ace of Cups in reverse. So as we segue, this is like a combined message of the Eight of Wands with the Ace of Cups in reverse. So remember me saying that many of you have lost interest, cut ties with old ways and old people and old things, and that stuff just don't excite you no more. You feel like you need something new. Well, for many of you, you may be going through some period of frustration where you feel like things are falling apart. So this is kind of a warning in the midst of trying out your new things, because just because you try it all out doesn't mean that it's all going to work out. And it doesn't mean that it's all going to work out the way that you planned. So that's also the purpose of trying out so many things at once, because you have a higher chance of something sticking and something working all at the same time. You got to learn how you process rejection, how you process failure. And those instances are for you to get more clear about where you actually belong. It seems like a lot of you have been pressured throughout life to force yourself to fit in. And that's another reason why Spirit is trying to discomfort y'all and get y'all to move, because it's not meant for y'all to fit in. Y'all are fire signs. Don't forget that. Y'all are the most laid back of the fire signs, but y'all still have main character energy. And speaking of which, if you are a Libra that has Sagittarius in your big three or whatever, you on point over here. So definitely, if you haven't, make sure that you also watch the Libra vid. If you are a Sagittarius and you have Libra in a strong space in your chart, you may want to go watch the Libra vid also, and that'll help bring more clarity to what you need to do and what's been going on with you also. With all of that being said, this Ace of Cups in reverse. So, movement, taking action. Many of you are literally about to move. Move. Don't forget to move. Anything you do will be held against you. You better move. Hey, okay, you might want to give that song a listen. As some of you, if you've been thinking about getting into dance or getting back into dance, you might, that's a confirmation. You might want to go ahead and do that. But what I was finna say is, if you've been thinking about changing locations, moving out of your home into another home, you on point. Moving from one state to another state, you're on point. Moving from one country to another country, you're on point. Taking a vacation, you're on point. If you've been thinking about breaking up with somebody, you on point. And for some of you, it doesn't mean that y'all would be like done for forever. Some of y'all just need a little break to rehabilitate yourself, rehabilitate your individuality, find yourself, and then come back together more whole. Because some of you are likely already in the presence of your twin flame. It's just kind of not the right time. Like, y'all just need some time of separation to get yourself together and come back together. Like I said, if you've been thinking about cutting some people off, you're on the right point. You're on the right path. Ooh. And so, with all that being said, it may feel like for some of you that everything is falling apart, that you're failing, that nothing is working out. Because I'm stressing that because some of you are going to have like hit after hit after hit after hit, no after no after no after no, and not even necessarily people telling you no. You may be, telling some other people no, or saying no to some other things, like just repetitively. You just might have a string of dissatisfaction with the circumstances or dissatisfaction with the opportunities. And while there can be a feeling of power behind having the ability to say no and reject something or someone else, this is going to make some of y'all feel like, gosh, what is for me? Where am I supposed to be? And please just be patient with yourself and understand that it's a process, and trust the process and trust yourself. Trust that it's coming, you're going to it, and you're going to know exactly what it is when you get it. And that's going to make you so much more clear on what that spiritual gift is concerning the transfer of energy thing. And child, I'm going to expand on that. In the next couple of cards. But to wrap this card up, the Ace of Cups in reverse, pay attention to the imagery. Of course, the card is in reverse, so it's like the contents of the cup is spilling out. But the hand still has a grip on the cup, which means that the cup is still whole. The hand is still functional. The hand can turn that cup back right side up and pour something else into the cup. Think about it, and apply it to yourself how you will. So yeah, just because it spilled out doesn't mean that it's all over. You still got the cup, you still got the hand, you still got the ability of it all. Just grab something else and put it in the cup and see how you like that. If you don't like that, put something else in the cup. And understand that it's okay to claim that power of rejecting something or someone or some group, because it's not necessarily even that you knocked the cup over and spilled the contents out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some of you are channeling the happening as a mistake that you made, as opposed to realizing that you made the choice to pour the content out the cup because you were dissatisfied with what was in the cup. So you had every right to pour it out. Now, you just got to pour something else back in. And like I said, keep sampling until you find something that you are passionate about. And before we segue on over into that card, Spirit is saying that some of you may want to literally go to some sort of function, gathering, paint and sip, or something of the sort, where they will have wine samples, whiskey samples, food samples, stuff like that. You can go to some type of functions like that and have a great time and take it all in. So now we're going to segue real nicely into this passion card over here. The frequency of passion reminds us that beneath every intense emotion lies the hidden gem of insight, balance, and calm. It assists us in finding the balance within this intensity, moving us from chaos to the calm of its core, where we can let its long-lasting wisdom fill us up. Now, Charlotte, that ain't just reiterate a good bulk of everything that I just said to a point where we ain't even got to stay on this card long, you know what I'm talking about? So make sure to take a screenshot of that and maybe even take a screen recording for the purpose of, hearing me read it off, and keep it with you, meditate with it and all of that, and make the most and the best out of it. It should bring you some good epiphanies and inspiration. That card specifically also is heavily sacral chakra charged, okay? So many of you are definitely creatives. So if you're wondering if your divine path has to do with being an artist of any sort at any rate, this is confirmation. And the fact that the flower of life that is on the card has a blue core, many of you likely use your voice creatively. And there are some hints of indigo in there, which lets us know that it is a divine gift, and you will likely be giving divine messages, divine premonitions, divine inspiration, and all of that through your creativity. And that is where the strength of the energy transfer and all of that comes in. You all have some sort of ability to influence other people's energy. So the way that many of you have vicariously lived through other people, whereas you thought it was them having the major influence on you, it was really you having the major influence on it all. So whatever it was that was so good and so bright and so grand that you saw in those people that you're no longer attached to anymore, Spirit is letting you know that the truth is all of those good qualities are you. You were seeing yourself in those people, and you ended up losing sight of yourself. That's why shit got to kind of a apathetic type feeling, and for some of you, feelings of disgust, because somehow, I guess because the gift has been unevolved, you ended up mindlessly trading places energetically with people who had dark and lame souls. And so it's like you took on their broken wings and handed them off your big, beautiful, functioning ones. And so for some of you, a lot of the wounds and toxic energy and stuff like that you've been having to purge and release is not even yours. And so this journey and these lessons coming through for the month of May is literally all about finding your path again. So you may also want to give all these Beyonce songs coming up, honey. You may also want to give Find Your Way Back by Beyonce a listen, because that song is giving exactly what y'all need right now to remember where you come from and remember who you are and remember what path you're supposed to be on. And that's a part of the movement and action and change of location that's coming on. It's a change of spiritual location as well, because y'all have been all on somebody else's path and you're about to leap from that one over onto your own, where you were actually supposed to be. And some of you have already made the leap and you're already pounding the pavement on that path, and you're already in the midst of learning the lessons that you are meant to learn. So just keep going, keep it up, and keep good love for yourself and good compassion and patience for yourself. Now, for this final card over here, it is a past life oracle card, and it is the biblical card. So not only is this reiterating and confirming what I said about people having forced y'all, or tried to force y'all to conform to the crowd, to function in a sheep mentality. And Spirit is saying you are not a sheep, you are the shepherd. You are I gotta look up the specific word for that, but y'all have some strength in energy transfers. So, it's just so very interesting. But the way to get more clear on that for each of your individual selves and how it comes up and functions and works best individually for you, you need to look to the Bible and understand that if you're more of a spiritual person as opposed to religious, or vice versa, it all works. You need a little bit of everything for a balance. And the background message of this card is that there are a lot of things as far as other people's interpretations of things, people, life, circumstances in general, but specifically things that concern spirituality, religion, and the Bible. Many of you don't resonate with other people's perspectives and interpretations because y'all literally have past life experience during those particular time periods and historical happenings. So looking back to the Bible and or whatever your core spiritual text is, meditating with some of those stories will bring up some past life visions and epiphanies for you, and bring so much clarity to you about why you've experienced certain things, why you think about things a certain way, why you see things a certain way, certain artworks that you've created. It'll start to make sense to you where it's all come from. And it's because Jesus and Moses and them was your homeboys back in the day. Of course, the names may vary per spirituality, you know what I'm saying? But you know what it is. Bring it on home. So you're going to be doing a lot of research, and also be sure to watch a lot of period pieces. So movies that are set in particular time periods and the story is based around that time period. Shows of the same caliber, plays of the same caliber, reviews and analysis of these different shows, plays, and movies that speak on it and give different information, and look up articles on it. And like I said, make sure you're researching through those spiritual texts and meditating on all of it, and that is going to help you gain not only more clarity about where your spirit has been and who your spirit is, where you come from, but also concerning that spiritual gift that you have. So pay very close attention to the stories within the spiritual text that you resonate with the most. Pay close attention to the visions, the smells, the textures, and things of that nature that come up for you and that trigger you in any form of way, because that is giving you indication on who you were and how to really enhance that gift that you have of being an energy transferer. And I want to say energy manipulator, but the term manipulate has a negative connotation, so I don't want to use that term. But that's what it's given. You have the ability to make people feel whatever you want or need them to feel. And so spirit is taking you through a lot of experiences and is nudging you to take yourself through a lot of different experiences to get clear on your intents and make sure that you are using that gift, one, for the betterment of yourself, for the betterment of your relationships, for the betterment of your blessings, and for the betterment of the world and the universe as a whole. Because specifically, those of you that resonate with the past life message in its entirety, spirit is wanting to remind you that you are so grand and you are so royal that you gotta elevate your mentality. Shout it. They really want to remind you who you are, because you've been selling yourself short, you've been cheating yourself, you've been asleep on yourself, and it don't even make no sense because you're so much more powerful than that. And if I just sounded like one of your lost loved ones saying that, that is not by mistake, that is not a coincidence. If it sounded like one of your lost loved ones, it's likely because one of your lost loved ones came up and channeled on through me. And finally, if you've been feeling called to research Hebrew Israelites, Hebrew spirituality, the Hebrew language, all there is about being Hebrew and Judaism and Jewish people, Jewish culture, Jewish history, and the comparison and the contrasting of it all. If you've been thinking about getting into that, if you've been thinking about doing research, ancestry testing of all of that, this is confirmation to do so, because you likely do come from a lineage of Hebrew Israelites, which would make the biblical card ring even more true for you. Best wishes on y'all journey, y'all. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe, so that you'll be one of the first to be back through these queenly quarters for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.